Thank you for joining me today. I want to start off by introducing myself, with this being my first Faith Over Fear podcast. My name is Kristi Copas, and I have been with Mary Kay as an independent beauty consultant and independent sales director for over 25 years. And I want to talk to you about something that every successful consultant in this business eventually learns: how to choose faith over fear. Because let's be honest, fear shows up for all of us. Fear when we make the first phone call, fear when we ask someone to host a party, fear when we share the opportunity, and fear when we stretch for a new goal. But what I've learned is that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even when fear is present. And that reminds me of a story from the childhood of our founder, Mary Kay Ash. When Mary Kay was a little girl, her mother worked long hours to support the family. Because of that, Mary Kay had responsibilities at a very young age. Her mother would even send her to the store all by herself. I can't even imagine. And if I remember correctly, I would highly recommend you read her book. I haven't read it for a while, but I'm thinking she was 5 or 6, and her mom sent her to do some shopping, and I believe she even had to take the bus. As a mother, I would have fear. And as that little girl, I would have fear. Now, this has been many years ago, so things were, I feel like, a lot safer. But still, that's just a major thing. But she did it, and it was something that they had to do. That takes a lot of courage. And so if I remember correctly, again, I should have gotten the book out and kind of reviewed it, but I don't want to tell you wrong, but I'm pretty sure when she got to the store, she was going to buy a blouse. And the clerks there were like, well, we can't sell this to her. And they called her mother, and her mother said, yes, you sell her the blouse. I sent her there for it. So I can see why, if she was that young, they would be questioning just a little bit. And then another time, this is a famous story of Mary Kay's, when her father was ill, and that's why her mom had to work outside of the home, and he had to stay home. And so while her mother was working, Mary Kay would be there to help take care of her dad. And one day he asked her to make his favorite soup. And so Mary Kay didn't know how, and she went and climbed up on the stool by the telephone, that's how little she was, and called her mother at work and asked her how to make the soup. Her mother would talk her through it step by step and have every confidence in her. And every time her mother would end the same way, she would say, you can do it, Mary Kay, you can do it. And those words helped build the confidence of a woman who would later create one of the most empowering opportunities for women in the world. What I love about that story is Mary Kay didn't know everything, and she just kept trying. She didn't even think about not being able to. She just knew she had to try. And that's exactly what we need to do in this business. I remember times in my own journey when fear showed up many times. There were many times when I felt nervous about stepping out and sharing the business or inviting women to buy the products or try the products. And I remember thinking things like, what if they say no, or what if they're not interested, or what if I'm bothering them? And for a moment, fear almost convinced me to stay quiet. But I realized something. If I let fear win, I might miss the very woman who needs this opportunity. And, if you don't try, you don't know what you might miss out on. You never know what's right around the corner. And I've actually got a story of that as well that I will share in future Friday Faith Over Fear podcast. But definitely many times. But instead of letting fear win, I decided to take that step, that courageous step, and start sharing my story and simply inviting women to try the products or hear about the opportunity. What I discovered was something powerful. The fear I felt beforehand was so much bigger than the reality. Some women said no, and that was okay, but others said yes. Some were curious, some were excited, and some were truly grateful that someone believed in them enough to ask. Other times I had to choose faith over fear was when I felt stretched in my business. Maybe the goal felt too big, or maybe I wasn't sure I was ready for the next level. But instead of shrinking back, I prayed about it and reminded myself why I started. I reminded myself that this business isn't just about the products. It's about confidence. It's about encouraging women, and it's about helping someone see the possibilities they didn't see before. And I will tell you, one of the most important things to me about this business is that in Mary Kay, and Mary Kay Ash built the company on this, believing that we put God first, family second, and career third. That is the most important thing, I believe. But every time I choose faith instead of fear, or every time I chose faith instead of fear, something amazing happened. I grew. And that's what I want every consultant listening to remember today. Fear is normal. Fear shows up when you're about to do something meaningful. Fear shows up when you're about to grow. Fear shows up when you're about to step into leadership. And the really amazing thing is fear does not get the final say. So the next time you feel nervous about making the call, or you hesitate to ask someone to host a party, whether it be in person or online, the next time you wonder if you're capable of reaching your goal, remember that little girl climbing up on that stool, calling her mother, and learning step by step. She didn't know everything. She was willing to learn, and she just kept trying. And just like Mary Kay's mother told her, you can do it. So today I want to challenge you to take the next step. Make the call, send the message, invite the woman, and share your story. Choose faith over fear. Because on the other side of that step might be that woman whose life you're meant to change. And in the process, your own life may be changed. Just know that I believe in you, and you can do it.